Mr. Crowder.
My name is Miss Real.
I'm Mr. Blackman.
And today our lesson is titled Basketball and Beyond. So, as you look around up here, is there any idea of what we could possibly be doing today? Playing basketball? What specifically about basketball are we going to be playing? You think we're going to be shooting maybe because I told you before? No, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be learning how to shoot a basketball. And these are our objectives. We're also going to be doing, you want to explain your part of the lesson?
Later on, we're going to be taking some of our shooting scores that we get throughout the game, and we're going to be comparing them. So we're going to try to apply some of these fractions that may appear to be a little scary. So first, let's focus on how we're going to shoot, and then we'll move into math later.
This grade level is also a 4th or 5th grade level. We want to make sure that you guys understand that because these fractions and these techniques, they're pretty simple and elementary. So first we want to identify the steps in the correct order of how to shoot a basketball. Then we're going to display the proper form while shooting a basketball. And then we're going to identify fractions that are equivalent. We're going to recognize when two fractions have the same or different denominators. And then we're going to compare the fractions to determine which is greater and lesser value. So we're going to build our way up throughout the basketball, and we're going to build our way up through the math. Alright, so if you're taking notes, these are kind of going to be the main topics that we want to go over.
Is everyone able to see these? Yes, no?
Alright, so these are kind of going to be the main topics, and we're going to go into a little detail throughout each one of these topics. And then, if that seems a little bit too difficult, we're going to have a mnemonic that's going to help us remember things a lot easier than all these steps. So, the first, all these steps are important, so I'm not even going to say the most important, but we need to start with keeping our eyes on target when we're shooting a basketball. That means, where do you want the ball to go? Well, normally you want it to go through the hoop, so you need to be looking at the hoop while you're shooting. And all these steps, they happen in a matter of a fraction of a second. So you got to remember everything that we're about to go over, all in a matter of milliseconds. Alright, so we want to keep our eyes on the target, and our stance and our balance is very important. If you're fading away, or if you're not balanced, you don't have a good foundation to be able to get the ball accurately where you want it to go. The shot pocket. How many people have played basketball before? In high school? How many people still play basketball? Not really very many people. But one of the great things about basketball is it is something that you can carry on for the rest of your life. You can always play, even by yourself or with a team. But beyond that, if anybody's ever heard of like the triple threat position, it's where you can either pass, shoot, or dribble. So you have it a little bit above your waist, and that's where the most effective place to hold the ball, because you can do all those things that I said and keep the most control of it. So as you're going through, you want your eyes on your target, you want to have good balance, and you need to keep the ball within your shot pocket. Your grip, it's very important that since there's these lines on the ball, you want to make sure that your fingers try to line up in the same spot every time, because it affects their divots, so it affects the way that your mind reacts when the ball touches your hand. And one of the main things is you need to keep it on your finger pads. You don't want to be palming the ball to where your whole hand is on the entire ball. You want to make sure it's on the tips of your fingers, and you want to be able to slide a pencil through the ball in your hand. So your balance hand. A lot of people shoot a basketball, if they haven't been taught right, with kind of both hands. Just because when you're young, you start off shooting and you can't get it up there, so you just throw it as hard as you can. And sometimes that bad habit carries over throughout your time growing up in middle school and high school. So your balance hand is used as a guider. When you have the ball in your hand, you want to shoot with your dominant hand, obviously, because that has the most power. And your balance hand just keeps the ball balanced. So it's to guide as you follow through your shot. It's always the first hand to come off. It should always come off first, because it's just guiding. It's not providing the power to get the ball to the hoop. Your delivery, That's just bringing it from the shot pocket on the way up. Almost finally, your up force and landing jumping is important because it gives you more power. It's kind of like picture a wave of energy just flowing from your feet all the way up. And when you're shooting a free throw, you don't normally jump, but that's because it's not that far. When you're shooting farther out, you need the extra strength that comes from your feet. Your follow through is where you're keeping your eyes on the target and you just you finish your push. Finish getting rid of it, because if you just go like that, the ball's going to go crazy. Alright. Yeah, I can do that. So we're going to go back and read through our steps just in case you guys missed anything. That was a little bit of detail, but the most important thing is the steps in order that we saw in the beginning. So, if I want to shoot a basketball, can everybody show me how to do eyes on target? It's more of a joke because it's easy. You just have to look at the hoop. Your stance. You want to have your feet kind of shoulder width. And you want to be balanced. You don't want to be swaying to the left or to the right. Just straight up and down. You want the ball in your shot pocket, right here. It's a little hard with these smaller balls, but we want to keep our eyes on the target. Good stance, shot, grip. So, kind of like that. We don't want to keep it palmed. We want to be able to have a little bit of space in between. Our balance hands on the side. Delivery, and we got to jump, so I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to do it slow here. So, eyes on.
It's alright. You should make it every time.
Every single time.
Perfect. Practice. Just like that.
I haven't practiced with these little hoops yet, but practice makes permanent. So the more you go through these steps, if you don't do these steps right from when you're young, you're going to continue to do them wrong. You have to force yourself to follow through the steps, so that way you have the best chance of making a basket. Does anybody, you want me to do beef then? I'll do beef. We'll use our pneumatic. So, yeah, I'm left-handed. So those are a lot of the steps. We're going to simplify it a little bit with a mnemonic called beef. Beef, the B stands for balance. The E stands for eyes on target. The other E stands for elbows aligned. And the F stands for follow through. Now a lot of these sound like what we just went over. The only one that might raise a question is elbows aligned. And that's the importance of keeping your elbow straight up and down and not cocked out to the side.